If you think that it's okay for support ults to last for 14 seconds, you are just wrong and you shouldn't be appealed to.
Is it the game balance that's the issue, or more like the players?
Your team doesn't, or your supports are like glue eating. What am I allowed to say on this? What am I allowed to
whatever you want, bro. Whatever you want. Ironfist, BP, Spider-Man, every mobility heavy character has gotten complaints from the community, and then they've gotten nerfed or changed.
I feel like this game's future is just like constantly complaining about it, but still just never stopping.
I think Samito's probably the only one more hated than you are, Captain Coach, most likely. We actually have a lot of support players that watch this. What would you say to them that are afraid that you just want to gut their role? All right, guys, welcome to Clear Comms episode 3. Today we're joined by our special guest, Samito. Hey, Samito, how you doing?
What's up, gentlemen? Thank you guys for having me. I think this will be a good one. I mean, anybody who's used to having me on a show, there's a lot of gas, not a lot of breaks. So this will be a fun one.
Yeah, we're coming together here to talk about primarily the state of Rivals, the state of balance, the state of hero shooters, Rivals versus Overwatch. I think a lot of, like myself, I'm a pretty positive sentiment about Rivals right now, but Samito represents a much different opinion that I'm going to let him articulate in a second, and Captain Coach somewhere in the middle. So yeah, let's kind of just jump right in. I know you played 4.5. I know you were frustrated about 4.5. How do you feel about Rivals right now, Samito?
Look, I think there's no excuse for the game to not be in a better spot than what it is. I know everybody's talking about Daredevil, and he is cool. Like, the one thing I'll give Rivals credit for is like the character animations and stuff they have on the melee characters. Like, it's insane. It's awesome. It's the best I've ever played. But to my issue is that they've had a year and a half to address the sustain and stalling and ult cycles. And frankly, they've done a terrible job of doing what needs to be done. I don't think that it's in the best interest of the game to make excuses for the balance team who want praise for nerfing Luna ult for 2 seconds as if it's not a much bigger picture issue than that, when there's not enough neutral in the game. There's too much just spam and trading and stalling forever, that if they got rid of that, because they have so many characters that do all kinds of amazing things, like Ironfist, Daredevil, like that stuff could not, I mean, you could say Genji, right, in Overwatch, stuff like that, sure, right, but the way that Rivals does it with, like, the character animations, they have so many awesome characters that could shine so much more with individual playmaking, that their gameplay loop with all the stall and aggressive sustain and ults across the board, I'm not just, and I know you go on X and say, oh, you got to nerf support ult duration, everybody freaks out. I'm saying that all of these ults should have their duration nerfed to open up much more of neutral in the game. And after a year and a half of watching this, the gameplay loop is stale because of that when it shouldn't be. Map pools have no reason to be in the game when there's only like 8 maps. It, again, makes it even more stale. They are adding more, but it's like you don't have like, it was bad when Overwatch 2 did it, and they had 8 years of maps that they built in the game and people still didn't like it. So, you know, I think that they're dropping the ball on very easy things, and they haven't made meaningful changes to the gameplay loop other than saying, oh, here's the Nemours 5th team up in a year and a half that makes him good, and we're going to pick and choose the characters that get heal mitigation instead of addressing the problem that is a lot of the sustain and stall duration. So the content's cool. They're telling the story. It's great. But they've dropped the ball when it comes to the gameplay loop and really doing what needs to be done to cut the low-hanging fruit down for the game.
Because that's like, I know like in Overwatch, depending on, I know we've had tons of ultimate nerf changes throughout Overwatch's history, but it's typically like 2 or 3 whole fights before ultimates come online for most characters. Mm-hmm. But Rivals, it's like half a fight, maybe. Mm-hmm. All the ultimates are online. So is that like your big fix is like, you just need like nerf ultimate charge, or is it like the power of the ults?
It's not even charge. Like, listen, I think nerfing ultimate charge across the board could help. I think it could help, but it's the duration of how long the ults last too. Like in Overwatch, like they need to actually let you be able to kite support ults and re-engage without your team dying. If they get a support ult off on point and your team doesn't, or your supports are like glue eating. What am I allowed to say on this show? What am I allowed?
Yeah, whatever you want, bro. Whatever you want.
If they're huffing glue in the back line, and I've got a Luna Snow on a controller that's never played a hero shooter before, and I'm trying to climb up, and I'm watching her troll while Nightmares go straight down mid on Thor with 10 deaths for 10, and I can't win the game because my Luna will not ult. the game's over because there's 15 seconds for their team to regroup because there's a Cloak and Dagger. And if I see one more Cloak and Dagger player on Twitter sit there and tell me, actually, Samito, the Cloak and Dagger ult lasts for 8 seconds. Yeah, you lay down 4 of them, and the animation lasts 4. It's a 12 to 15 second ultimate. Support ults in Overwatch lasts for 6 seconds. 6 at the most. And if it's Kitsune, you can kill through Kitsune. Even Juno ult moves slow, and you can kill through it. There is no play to make, none, on support ults in Marvel Rivals unless you are playing 3 or 4 DPS in the game. And if you don't realize, and I don't even want to say DPS, it could be tank. This is why Mag has been the best tank in the game since the game came out, because he always can kill through a support ult. They last too long. And I don't want the game to become, oh, support ults last 6 seconds and now Punisher ult is 8 seconds, and so like the DPS ult wins. Nerf Punisher ult duration down to that same length too. But there's not enough window for actual skilled players in the ranked mode to recognize that a support ult is on point. If you don't have one, you can kite it out and re-engage. It makes the game so much more interesting. And so that's what I'm saying. I'm saying you probably should nerf the build rate too, make it harder to build ults across the board. You could do that if you want. But really, man, especially for defender's advantage in this game, if you get a support ult off on point, nobody's going to die, and your whole team is going to regroup, and it lasts forever, even if you've gotten picks to win a fight in a game that has a ton of rocket beacons. And I will say, to give them credit, I think the Rocket Raccoon ult rework was one of the best ones they did, because guess what? You don't have to be on a specific hero to counter it if it's bad. Everybody can shoot it, no matter what character you're on. Maybe if you're not on Cloak and Dagger, you can't break it, right? But you guys get what I mean. Like, 90% of the cast can be smart and make a play against it. That's not true for Cloak ult. I mean, again, there are like maybe 6 or 7 characters that can pull a Cloak out or one-shot or do whatever, but it's definitely not true for Luna ult. So, I mean, a lot of them need to get reined in, and they beat around the bush and then want praise with some silly joke in their patch. I'm like, I get their sense of humor, but that really rubbed me the wrong way.
I got a question for you.
Yeah.
I was recently watching Flats just the other day, posted a kind of a rant on the state of the game, and he was a bit more positive about it, but he made a good point, which is that the game has now been out for almost a year, and obviously there's been a pretty steep player drop-off. I think it's like 80, 90%. And he said that most of the casual people are all playing whatever Battlefield 6 right now, the casual Marvel Rivals fans, and that the true player base is now the people who have stuck with the game, and now it's kind of where it's bottomed out. You make a point that the support ults are obviously like too strong. Do you think that is NetEase maybe catering to casual players too much, or like a more of an emphasis on like team fight and teamwork, because or big playmaking, you could say, because like Magneto ult, right?
I think they've misunderstood playmaking, because you've seen them make a lot of. We're gonna remember what kind of company is NetEase. They're a mobile game company, right? So for their first hero shooter to come out and have it do this is very successful. And they should be very proud of that. From where, because let's not forget, when they first tweeted out the screenshot of characters, you saw and unknown. They were going to sell characters, but they saw how bad the reception was when Overwatch did it, and they pulled it. So they to their credit, they've been flexible. I think that they think, one, they aren't wrong when they say that Marvel Rivals is going to do a better job of grabbing those casual players than any other game in the genre will, because it's the Marvel IP. If they came out and said Deadpool's in the game tomorrow, you're going to have a ton of North American comic book fans who love Deadpool getting on and be like, all right, I'm going to try out your Deadpool in this game. Because that's what people want to do. Daredevil is the same way. The trailers, the cinematics, you're tapping into such a massive fan base of people that already exist that are going to come try this game because of these characters that other games don't have. So they are right that it's going to get more casuals. Where they're wrong is they think that the ults have to last that long to feel super powerful, and they can do both, right? Because the casuals just want to get on and try out their character. If Cloak ult is lasting 6 seconds, like, I think that ult needs to get reworked altogether, for one. I think it should just be, if this is what you have to do to make it like a reasonable duration, maybe you can control where the character actually goes. It's not just straight lines, but it only lasts for 8 seconds. Like one big like rush,
like a
movement.
paintbrush, right?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah,
Because you can't have it last 8 seconds total and have it be like the locked in place thing. Like, why are we locking it in place? Like, it lets them have more counterplay to actually dodge incoming damage too. I don't mind that if you rein it into 7-8 seconds duration and maybe up the healing of the pack. Like, I don't know. I don't care what you do. It just can't be 12, 14 seconds, right? Because you still get the hero fantasy. What they don't want to destroy is the hero fantasy, and they're right. You can't do that. Yeah. But if the ult's lasting for 14 seconds and you're adding more and more characters in the game, where's my hero fantasy on Ironfist when I'm tickling them in an ult for 14 seconds and can't get anything to happen? It's not there, right? And I'm not saying I should be able to kill through it, but I'm saying there should be reasonable decisions and abilities so it's not tic-tac-toe, but a game of chess instead. Because you can keep that floor low and keep these people in and coming to the game, but also reward smart players in the ceiling, where I'm like looking at the fight now and I'm saying, there's no way I can outplay this. Like, I can't go in, and they're adding so many more characters too. This problem's only going to get worse, right? If you aren't the character that gets the heal, if they say, you know what, if you get to be Namor and Venom this season, where we're going to add these Giga heal sustain. Okay, well, what if those characters are like? It's not a healthy solution where you open up playmaking to the entire cast a lot by reining those ults specifically in. So that it's not about what character has the heal mitt, right? And you can nerf the DPS ults. Like, I would trade Ironfist ult, which is like a 12-second duration, down to 8 or 9 seconds if they took the support ults down. Because if they support ult early and my teammate like has 3 seconds of life left, right? I can stall those 3 seconds, stall his life, and instead of waiting, 9 seconds for that ult to come up when all of their neutral cooldowns will be back if they misuse them, it's 6 seconds, right? So I can go in with my Iron Fist ult at the 3-second mark of that ult being down, draw more CDs to me, and they don't have time to full reset everything. Like, there's a way for me to go in there, be smart, and turn that fight. That's not taking away from that casual player's experience. That's giving me, a veteran player, a chance to come in and make a play happen. But there's no room for that, especially when attacking. Casuals don't like permanent stall either, right? And in fact, it might actually affect them more when especially the abilities are easier to use in this game. So that was a very long answer.
Yeah,
go ahead.
And the thing is, like, they've proven that they can make supports that can get value in the neutral too. Characters like Adam, characters like Mantis, even Jeff. So why is there 4 we can't die ults in the game already? Like, I don't understand, because those actually, it makes it so all of these the neutral playmaking, they have to keep it like nerfed or else it's triple support. Why does that even exist? I don't understand why just invisible, there should be like one, like maybe one immortal ult. And then come up with some more creative ults. Like in Overwatch, we have a lot of creative ults.
Yeah, but like Kitsune, stuff like that. And to
even like Nano or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. And to add on to that as well, the only answer to it can't be just combo into it, right? Because you're relying on team synergy, and that drives a lot of casual players away. Because I've seen the guys in my rank trying to climb up, and they're clueless. And that's not necessarily a bad thing, because this game has brought a lot more people into the genre. But if you reduce the duration, right, of these ults, then you're not forcing people to combo to get the stall off, or you're not forcing. Like, I had some guy on Twitter tell me, "Oh, just pick Jean." And it's like, that's the problem, dude. Jean's one character, and I don't want to get on this game just to play Jean. Like, I should be able to have the choice of some flexibility. And so what your point is, you're right. Like, it's actually okay if they have a couple different types of quote-unquote unkillable support ults, but they last so long right now, it's like a guaranteed fight win if you can't match it or do it properly. But if they last less time, people get caught out more. There's more neutral mistakes. There's more like on the player rather than the ult doing everything for you. And ultimately, that's why we play a game. Nettie's going to have to learn, obviously you want those casual players to get on, but that's where Flats is right. To come back to your question, we made it full circle. We did a bit of a weave there, but we did get it full circle where you're right, where like they need to just peel back, and the game would feel so much better, dude. It would feel so much better to play if they did that. But for me,
what would you say? What would you say to? Because we actually have a lot of support players that watch this pod. They got pissed off at us last time for talking shit about support. But what would you say to them that are afraid that you just want to gut their role? That's what they're afraid of. What would you say?
I'm saying you shouldn't be, because I'm saying to nerf all the DPS duration too. Nerf all of them. I would nerf Star-Lord ult down to 6 seconds, nerf Iron Fist ult down to 8 seconds, nerf Punisher ult a couple seconds of duration. Every duration-based ult for the DPS should get nerfed in tandem with those support ults too. So it's not just them, and like every ult. So like when I'm saying this, I'm saying It's all of them. And if you increase the support ult duration, increase the DPS ult duration, like to the build rate for the support ults, increase the DPS by the exact same amount. So like the build time would not be faster on DPS than support. It would be the exact same. It would still be about how you play. It's just all of those ults would not last as long collectively. Right. It's a universal pullback. And by the way, Overwatch did this too numerous times over the years. They did it in GOATS meta. They did it, I think, in Rollock once as well when the game first came out. Like the Overwatch went through the exact same thing. And it's not about one role versus another. The support ults are obviously a more outlandish example. But again, it's like, it's about individual playmaking. And that actually, if those support ults are ending in less time and they're adding more offensive supports to the game, like with different ult types, it would give you more chance to win if you were making the correct play. If they add a Kitsune or if they add a Rocket ult, right? A big reason why Rocket ult is so bad is because if you cloak ult on point, it gives them 14 seconds to walk up and break it. But if they only have it for 8, right? That's a much more, where do I place the ult? Do they have the time to actually do this? Can we actually walk forward into this damage as much if we don't have as much time to sustain? The game gains like 2 to 3 times more depth in these fights rather than just fighter game button mash at each other. And I'm not talking high skill ceiling fighter game. I'm talking like the noobs when you first start playing and button mash, right? So
Noob
it's not just
it's
not just targeting support players. This is a thing across the game for each role.
I really like what you said about power fantasy, where you pop your Ironfist salt and then you just hit a cloak and you can't do anything. Do you think that the support ults being as long and as strong as they are is a result of just them trying to future-proof all the power creep that's kind of being introduced to the game, or do you think power creep is even an issue? Because I like with Phoenix and Emma, those are probably 2 S-tier characters just released, and I think Daredevil's right there with it. I feel like the game is just moving towards a way where if you have this equalizer in a support alt, like you said, the checkers rather than chess, where it kind of makes it easier for them to balance while making the characters still BOP. That's me trying to give goodwill to netties and their... You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'd argue that if the support ults were... I don't think it's power creep. I think it's all hero fantasy. They've made it really clear they want everyone to feel like a superhero, and they want to nail the hero fantasy of the game. And I think that's great. I think that's one of the things that makes netties or makes Rivals such a fun game is like, dude, like you really do feel like you're playing a superhero, and that won't go away. Like giving people more opportunity to make plays as their superhero actually lets them more characters live true to their hero fantasy, because every character will have greater windows of opportunity to take advantage of their hero fantasy. When it's a giant stall, or you hit the Iron Man ult, which ends up getting held hostage by Mag, or whatever it might be, for the cloak players, for example, where I said they should change cloak ult to 8 seconds, but give her one big beam. You actually have you'll have the ability to control your character, right? You as a player will be able to control your hero fantasy more than you can right now, and everybody would win in my mind. So I don't think it's power creep. I think if ults lasted less time, I think heroes like Emma would be even better, actually, because again, they wouldn't be able to stall out those support ults so long for all of their cooldowns to be back. Like, for example, say Luna ult lasted 6.5 seconds, right? If you burst down the mag shield and the bubble on the first cycle, and then the Luna ults to bail them out, you could ult with 3 seconds left on that Luna ult, and that mag shield and bubble won't be back yet. So then the Luna ult's ending as the mag is there. So stuff like that. Like, I'd argue you almost have more playmaking potential. To answer your question, though, no, I don't think it's about power creep. I think it really is about hero fantasy for them with a Marvel game. That is very important, but I don't think it actually takes away from it. I think it lets more characters on the cast live up to their fantasy rather than one outlier.
Yeah, that's interesting about thinking about power creep. I think let's see their track record. I think Blade was released fairly balanced, if not underpowered. Jean was definitely released extremely overpowered.
She was
like completely overpowered. Emma overpowered. Thing probably fine. Underpowered maybe. Ultron
underpowered.
Ultron was probably underpowered on release.
I disagree on Torch being underpowered. I thought he was good. I think it just took people a little time to learn the tech.
Clunky too. You're right, but
That's fair.
I do think he was clunky, and Spider-Man was also pretty good that season, I think, and he didn't have his like crazy stuff before. I think it's a bit of both. But we'll say Torch was good. He was solid regardless. I think he was solid.
Yeah.
So it's definitely interesting, because I think a lot of people are going to be afraid of power creep, especially when they're releasing a hero a month, which is, by the way, insane.
Yeah.
I think Like, regardless of what NetEase does right or wrong balance-wise, just the fact that they're releasing a character a month is just, like, something unheard of. I think that's actually wild.
League used to do that in its infancy. They actually had every patch they'd introduce 2 or 3 at a time, but they couldn't keep that up. And again, balance became a huge issue, and over time they eventually slowed it down to about 5 or 6 a year. And I think that probably the same's going to happen to this game eventually, but I mean, it just kind of goes back to what we were talking about with Team Captain last week, which is, you know, how much do they already have planned out versus what they're making up kind of as they go, you know? I kind of wanted to talk a bit about the hero changes, specifically your hero. That's actually how I found out about you. Was I was playing Ironfist, and I was looking for. I wanted to learn how to play him because I hadn't even started making content yet. And I'm like, this guy looks amazing. I saw you and Necros playing him. How do you feel like the balance has gone? Because he's your favorite hero, right? Because he's gone in a strange direction. Yeah.
Yeah. What is going on with him?
Ruined him.
Okay.
Ruined him. Ruined him. Let's keep doubling down on the same concept that took away all of the depth of his gameplay. There were very few Iron Fist players in Season 0, and he was hard to play, but he was so dynamic, right? Like, you had numerous playstyle options that you could have. Like, you weren't a big damage threat, but it was just enough on squishies to where if you went in backline and they misused a cooldown, you had a choice to kick and get the finish and try to get out, or kick back into the tank while splitting the two teams. It was a lot like DPS Doomfist, which I'm not sure. Are you familiar with how DPS Doomfist played in Overwatch?
I didn't play. I played Overwatch for about a month. I didn't stick around too long.
DPS, I know Coach Mills knows it. He was a menace, and he was one of my best characters in the game. You know, I hit rank 1 playing him. Like, he was. Listen, I acknowledge completely, he was corny. But if you knew how to play him, oh my God, you would make people hate their existence. What he was so good at was initiating a backline and making a choice to either finish the kill on the backline or punch back into a tank, splitting teams. And essentially, like, I would compare the enemy team to being the Red Sea and you were Moses walking through it. And you could split and choose whatever side and create a pinch from inside their team and creating a kill box just from hitting backline, right? Iron Fist was the same way in Season 0, where you had just enough damage to threaten the Luna Mantis and either force an ult, create a kill, or force them to heal each other to where the tanks weren't getting healed, so the tank exchange was happening, and you could kick back into a low HP tank, stabilize on your tanks, and pounce on that target and finish them. The problem with him in that season, why he was bad, is that his kick, and it was a 15-second cooldown, and his block started at 12. So you have a melee-based character that has insane downtime in fights, and so despite that, still had like a 53-54% win rate at a really low pick rate in GM Plus before Celestial. So he was viable. I liked it because I could choose to punch on a tank or I could choose to punch on a backline, but I said this in Season 0, and I hit like one above all. I was one of like 2 or 3 Iron Fists ranked in top 100 that season. I said if they nerf his damage against squishies at all from this point, he's horrible immediately. Then what they did is they tried to rework his damage to be percentage-based damage, which net nerfed his damage in squishies by like 15%, but gave him better cooldowns, way too good cooldowns. They then reverted the cooldown buff and left him with his HP percentage damage, which is worse against 80%. You can't have a DPS that has horrible matchups against all other squishies in the game. You can't. So how they kind of force his playstyle is to just literally be a... I hated this term for Doomfist so much because it really undersold his loop and what you could do. That everybody called him a punch bot. And I was like, that is such a lame way to describe this character. However, they made Iron Fist a punch the tank bot, where your only option really is to farm off their tanks. So what happens if they go triple DPS? What happens if they don't run 2 tanks? What happens if they run tanks that you can't really brawl? Right? And look, I'm not saying the character's bad necessarily. I'm saying he's not fun because he used to be so versatile, and the more they hone in on the HP percentage damage on enemy max HP, the less fun it's going to be for tank players, and the less versatile one of the coolest characters I've ever seen in the hero shooter can be. This is the complete wrong direction to go for the character. And it's really disappointing for me to see them continue to do this for him because it makes him so one-dimensional when he's really not a one-dimensional character. His mobility, his wall climb, the ability to absorb damage, the pressure cooldowns. It's just, he's not a threat. You have no chance of killing anything. Like in Season 0, You couldn't kill through a cloak bubble. You still can't kill through a cloak bubble. There's plenty of answers for this guy, even if his damage isn't horrendous against squishies. But, you know, it's alarming to me to see them double down, not even double. They're like quadrupling down on this like budget Wolverine direction for a guy that's the coolest brawler I've ever seen in a game, and it's wasted potential, man. I just rambled, so you know.
One of the things that's it's definitely weird. So I think Rivals is doing this weird thing where Rivals is definitely like the place to go if you're into melee characters, because like there's no 100%. DPS Doomfist anymore. They have so many varieties of melee characters, just tons of them. But at the same time, I feel like Rivals has consistently catered to people, especially in low elo. I don't want to call too many specific groups out, but people in low elo complaining about dive and mobility heavy characters like Iron Fist, BP, Spider-Man. Every mobility heavy character has been like has gotten complaints from the community, and then they've gotten nerfed or changed. Even Iron Fist's identity, it feels like who cares what tanks care? Who cares about things that bully tanks? Support players, we can't have anything that bullies support players. We got to change it.
He didn't bully. So here's my argument to those people. He was the only one who didn't bully them. BP can instantly one-frame one-shot you. Spider-Man can pull you across the map and combo you. Like, he was the most telegraphed one of them all. His time to kill was not insane.
Slow.
He's in your face. He has to slowly cross the map. His escape ability is tied to his lethality. So he has to choose between killing you with the kick or getting out. And if you don't shoot his block, he doesn't get the shields he needs. He had more counterplay out of any of those characters. In Captain America, Black Panther, Spider-Man, Venom, he had the most counterplay out of them all. But because a couple game journalists ranked him as the #1 most broken character in the game at launch, which is crazy. It's crazy. Like, what? Like, oh my God.
What? I'm telling you, man, it goes back to what I was saying. Like, I hadn't even touched rank yet. I was just learning the game and watching some Samito streams and videos, and I was playing Iron Fist, and I probably won 20 games in a row in quick plays because he stomps new players because he gets the shield after a kill, and that's why I say I think they're really trying to cater to casuals way more than people think. I think that's the big issue, but I'm curious to hear you think that's what it is too. Then
it is 100% what it is, right? It's an entry level game. But again, it's like ultimately you have to invest in the learning curve.
Do we need to cater to casuals at all? I don't like.
It's the biggest mistake I think.
Because casuals will come, they'll play the game regardless. We got a new character every month.
They're playing
exactly. So who cares what it's balanced? Why are we getting some random people on Reddit and they complain about Iron Fist when they have only put 10 hours into the game? They don't understand
it's
cycles.
He's telegraphed, and it's like, listen, like you have to learn to not like. It's simple. Don't shoot block. And I'm not saying he should walk in and one-shot you, but it's crazy to complain about Iron Fist. Because, like, listen, if you're going to have a character that doesn't require aim, right, does it have other drop-offs? He had a bad time to kill. He doesn't have instantaneous mobility across the map. And his lethality, his real kill ability is his kick, is his only escape option from the fight. So there's real decision-making there that you have to sacrifice. In the same way that Winston is a high skill-ceiling hero that doesn't require aim in Overwatch, like, Iron Fist is like the Winston of DPS for the melee-based characters. Like he doesn't have that. So I honestly don't understand their thinking at all, Captain Coach, when it comes to Iron Fist. It doesn't make sense to me at all.
And also like compare the changes, because I've been playing and main Bucky and the DPS role since season 0. I hit Eternity on Bucky, like only. That Bucky is so power crept from 0. Like if you compare Iron Fist and Bucky side by side since season 0. It's like Iron Fist went down and Bucky went extremely high. It's like they only want characters good for like casual players that don't actually threaten you but just deny things. Okay, if your job is just standing there and to deny things, then they're okay with the beam.
How do you explain Hela then right now, like the current state of Hela? Because that's
casual players can't aim. No casual player can aim, so they're okay with that character being infinitely busted. You can as long as it's not destroying, quick play lobbies or bronze lobbies, they're okay with it being busted. That's
follow up. Then why do you think they're pushing the competitive scene so much? Because in their defense, it does keep most competitive games very close when the skill level is pretty easy to obtain by all teams. You know what I mean? It's all just cooldown usage, pretty much.
I think they just I think Iron Fist is an outlier. I think they genuinely just don't understand that character. Like he truly is a character that like I'll be blunt. There are very few people that actually fundamentally understand what that character is.
He's genuinely, or was genuinely very difficult.
Yeah.
A lot of decisions.
I mean, for a while, I felt like they had no idea what they were doing with Thor 2 for a long time. I think Thor's in an okay place now, but it felt like they did like 5 changes in a row on Thor that made no sense from like a Thor main's point of view.
And this is where I agree with you, Captain Coach, where like I think eventually their hero release schedule is going to have to slow down, and they're going to need to go into a lot of these characters. And I saw a Vast tweet about this. He's like, "This will never be a problem." Like kind of sarcastically, like, you know, like, hey, like this is. And he was right. Like it's going to be an issue at some point, right? I don't want to hone in too much on Iron Fist and act like they've messed up the whole game in terms of design. Like some of the designs are super sick, man. I think that's just one. I think Iron Fist they've dropped the ball on the most because I think they're trying to make some of these characters be too unique. But the reality is the way his kit functions already was unique in its own way, right? You just like it was so different from Panther. He's all about occupying space for long durations of time. You didn't have to reinvent the wheel with him. Go back to his Season 0 values and just make his cooldown not be 15 seconds on a melee character, right? You know, keep it at 12, 10, and he's fine, right? Make players have to figure it out. But as for Gene and Hella, I think you guys are right when you talk about, like, it's not OP for super casual players. They'll never understand that. But, again, you don't have to sacrifice competitive integrity to make casuals happy. If you want to make casuals happy, come out with engaging new content, skins, modes, heroes, right, that are from the IP that they like. I think that you should always cater your game to a competitive audience, mainly because those are the people that you retain. That's how you keep it around. Those swing players are going to come in whenever you do something interesting, but you've got to make the game's skill to reward curve engaging and fun. And that's the big reason why I also want those ult durations nerfed, because my skill doesn't matter when the ults outweigh any decision making that I as a player can make to understand how to kite ults. If that's not even an option for me, I can't make plays because Bronze Andy over there, the plat support player, presses Q on point, and all of a sudden now a one above all player can't carry a low game because my supports aren't matching their ults properly, and now there's literally zero opportunity for me to win. So you know it's a lot. Sorry to the support players out there, and I'm not trying to single-handedly come for you guys. How I've always explained it is like supports and fights are like the P in PEMDAS, right? If you're in a math class, those you know PEMDAS is like, I forget what it says, parentheses, like whatever.
Yeah.
The whole thing, it's order of operations to get the right answer in math. If your supports are trolling or not using their ults properly, they're just the P in PEMDAS. That's why so many people come for you, because it's essential that's the first step, and if that first step goes wrong, the next steps of the equation can't function. And I play DPS. So.
And it's probably, I think it's also just like a frustrating gameplay loop for support players, because I just remember in Overwatch it was never that big of a deal to like always calm perfectly ult in a perfect way, like maybe at the highest elos of play, but like if you saw an opportunity with Nano, you just threw it. You saw like a Baptiste amp, you just threw it. Like you did not have to okay, Luna ult ending in 5, 4, 3, 2, okay, you ult now. Like no one had to we didn't have to do this whole really formulaic like do this, then do this. Like
see, that's interesting to me, because I never I always wished League of Legends had voice chats. The community's still clamoring for it. They're always asking for it. And
that would be the most toxic voice chat of all time.
League without voice is still somehow more toxic than Marvel Rivals, believe it or not. But so when I came to this game, you know, most people, I'm very vocal in my games, and sometimes not for the best, but I love the fact that it's so important. And for me, I view that as like a way that I can have an advantage. But I see how a lot of people, it is definitely more, I never thought of that point of view where it's like actually more casual friendly to not have to do that. I never really considered that because, I mean, when you're able to just kind of kill stuff on your own,
you just get a lot of freedom. I feel like you get freedom. I feel like Mantis players get freedom right now. Like, because you can kind of just ult whenever you want on Mantis, and you can like position aggressively. Yeah, you want to ult and engage. But that's this, like, supports just have to just do things in a very specific way. It's just not fun. Like, I can't imagine it's fun. I know a lot of support players probably have never experienced anything else if you never played Overwatch, but it doesn't have to be that way. It could be better.
It's so fun.
I quit Overwatch because of Diva.
Yeah, it's valid. You should hate playing against Super Diva. It's in 5v5. It's a big reason why Rivals exists right now. Coach Mills and I know all about arguing for 6v6, man. Jesus.
I also quit because I was trash at Tracer, and I wanted to like I played exclusively backline Tracer. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's what I
It's a
did.
thing.
It is a thing. Is it good?
Yes.
Okay, then I was just trash because I tried to make it work and it never did.
It's broken now.
Hulk and backline. That's why I play Hulk. Yes.
Yeah, Hulk and backline, but like again, like they need to create neutral. I'll let you guys to take the more of the subject from here, but like it's too telegraphed because there's no windows. If you don't do it this way and get your ults on point at this time, you are at such a massive disadvantage because it lasts for so long. There is not enough reasonable time for you to kite out and stabilize. It's not an option. They just got to open it up more.
Well, sorry. Or
no, go ahead. Go ahead.
One. Okay, yeah. No, what I was gonna say is I've been seeing you play a lot of Overwatch now, Samito, because I know you're frustrated with Rivals. And I understand a lot of the frustrations. I agree with a lot of them, and I understand it. I'm still enjoying Rivals, but why Overwatch? Because I think there's an argument to play other games, but I don't know about Overwatch.
Why the perks, bro.
Why is it? It's driving you. The perk system. You think that's
fun? Now really, to be honest with you, it was solely the Reaper perks. The Reaper perks were the most fun I've had playing Overwatch in years. And then they just removed them or nerfed them today. So
okay, okay. Oh, nice. So Battlefield 6 when's the Battlefield 6?
I might need. I'm waiting for my buddies. So my buddy Trevor is Trevor and Tyler. Tyler's a pitcher for the Mets. His season's over. Yeah. He just got a TJ. Trevor is in the playoffs playing the Dodgers right now. When he's done with his season, we're all gonna hop on BF6 together and we're gonna run it because he's been trying to get us on the Battlefield train for years. So we're gonna let him. Hey, listen, I never thought I'd say this, but let's go Brewers. All right, Brew Crew. Hopefully Trev and the boys can get a ring. That would be awesome. Listen, I'm just saying, if Trev gets a ring, Samito viewers, 1 World Series ring, Reddit 0. All right, so that's all I can say. All right, fuck Reddit. Sorry,
because I'm wondering how you feel about like the evolution of hero shooters, and like right now we have two major options, which is new. Do you think that there's going to be another game that will kind of come in and compete, or is it just going to be Rivals and Overwatch for the rest of the time?
There won't be another game soon. Rivals was a 1-in-decade game, a 1-in-10-years game. And the main reason it worked was because, ironically, they took Overwatch's formula. You know, that's why it worked. And I don't know if you saw this, but Overwatch's Halloween mode they're testing today, they're testing something similar to team-ups, and the format is 6v6. So we'll see if they wake up. Because that's realistically, that's Rivals' timeline. Like, look, this game, Rivals is never going to go away. It's going to keep its crown because its formatting was better than Overwatch 2's. It just was. Like, the super tank has destroyed the core of what Overwatch was. And Marvel Rivals captured that with Marvel IP better than any game, better than Concord, better than Lawbreakers, better than Gundam Evolution. You remember that game? Everyone was talking about
I love that game.
What do you mean by Super Tank? What do you mean by Super Tank?
So in Overwatch 2, they went from 6v6 to 5v5 with 1 tank. And to make the tank more appealing, they giga-buffed every tank in the game. So, like, insane cooldowns, like, quadruple the health pool. Like, imagine if they put the power of 2 tanks into 1 to where, like, Zarya. Do you remember Zarya? You remember how her bubble cooldowns were separate?
Yeah.
Now it's a single charge. She's 600 HP with the same, if not better, damage than she used to have. So she's got 50% more HP. Her bubbles can all go to herself. If you were to 1v1 a tank in Overwatch as a DPS, you would lose that 10 times out of 10. You would never win it one time.
Like, imagine if they took...
That's like Overwatch, a Blizzard IP. I played another Blizzard game in WoW, and they did the exact same thing in that to get people to play tanks. And tanks were the best 1v1 class. You couldn't beat them in PvP so much that they actually had to lower their values just so people would never play them. But they were gods in any other. Yeah, so like, it's like a way to get people to play stuff that you need.
And that's what they did because their queue times were tight. Like, in order for rolled lock, because they're in rolled lock now, they're not in open queue, which is another big reason I think Rivals is actually taking the win, is that if a single roll was not getting queued, it inflated queue times for every roll significantly. So in order to get people to play the tank,
20 minutes DPS queue. Yeah.
And Coach Mills was working on my channel at the time, and he'd tell you we had some banger videos come out where it's just like us reacting to buffing the best characters in the game. It's like, what the like what? And so now I forget how we got onto the super tank conversation. Oh, yeah, the format of Rivals and like the 2 hero shooters. Rivals has a big advantage in that because, again, that's what was so fun about Iron Fist. I had so many gameplay options to express myself as a DPS, right? And that's what makes Rivals fun. I'm not forced to ignore the tank and go for a support first. If a Strange feeds, I can line him up as Punisher, and there's a chance that he dies, right? There's a chance that I grab somebody's wolf, and like any role can make a play on any role, and that dynamic makes the gameplay loop so much more interesting, right? But to answer your question, because I'm going to go off the rails here, I don't think another hero shooter is going to come out anytime soon that competes with these two. I think if anything, it'll be like a deadlock. But like this is like in genre, like an arena hero shooter or a team-based hero shooter. They're once in a decade type of games. I don't see another. I think Rivals was successful because of that formatting, and the Marvel IP is really cool. They're telling the story, and all of those things are still amazing for the game. Like, I'm not off the Rivals train. I'm not sitting here saying I will never play this game again. It's terrible. I still love the game. They just didn't make the changes that I wanted them to make it more enjoyable for me. And, I'm just taking a break and playing the other one for now. I think the competition's actually really healthy. I think both of them have very fun draws to them. Overwatch's engine feels amazing. It's significantly better than Rivals' engine, but Rivals has a much more interesting gameplay loop, and if they would just nerf ult duration, I'd be grinding it 24/7. So, yeah, I don't see another one coming. These two are both great games and different. They're different. They're similar, but they are different, and I think it's important to know that they're trying to do two similar but slightly different things.
Yeah, like Captain Coach, like imagine if Hulk just had a shield and he had CC resistance. You were just the only tank.
Headshot mitigation.
Yeah, headshot mitigation.
He fed you 50% less ult charge if you shot him instead of any other character.
And the whole game you're just running around getting shot and like CC'd and booped, but you're not dying. It's just like impossible to kill you.
So lore accurate.
Yes. Lore accurate.
Because Hulk he's a little bitch. I mean, he dies instantly. He dies faster than Iron Fist. He dies faster than a lot of.
You think it's kind of fun, but when you're the only tank to do like the core tanking jobs, it becomes extremely tedious for a tank as well. It does become extremely frustrating.
Because you end up stalemating with the other tank and just trading meaningless damage on each
yeah,
other. So you'll have double the damage of your DPS just trading with each other. Because if you move, it exposes your back line, and if he moves, it exposes his. So you're kind of in like this stalemate.
Right.
Who can hold the corner better?
Yeah. Not to mention there's tanks like Orisa that are just like neither tank gets to play the game. We're just gonna make it so neither tank does anything.
Who do you think I'd like if I played Overwatch? Like I'm gonna try it eventually.
Doomfist, bro. You might play
Doomfist, tank Doom. Yeah, because Doomfist is a tank now. Yeah,
I mean, you hit the nail on it. That's the reason I fell in love with Marvel Rivals, because the melee is just better than any game I've ever played.
You would love Doomfist. You would love him. Yeah, you would love him.
Future
He's
Doomfist.
very similar in gauge style to Hulk, except his punch is so much more lethal than Hulk's.
Yeah.
And his ult's way better too.
Yeah, my Zebra's like a known Doomfist player, and when he came to Rivals, he played Hulk, Hulk. Yeah,
Zebra was who I watched to kind of made me want to play him, because like I said, I was a little late to the party. You mentioned Reddit.
Yeah. Y'all both are like the kings of getting canceled, probably on like Reddit, most likely. Both of them. Yeah.
Reddit are contraindicators. If they hate you, you're doing something right.
I think Samito's probably the only one more hated than you are, Captain Coach, most likely in the public sphere.
I do a charity stream for Kentucky Children's Hospital where we raised like $5,000 and it paid for the Xboxes and with kids with cancer. And if I posted about that on Reddit, it'd get downvoted. That's what we're talking about. That's how delusional these people are. But hey, listen, all good, man. All in good fun, right? Take away their keyboards, what do they have? They gotta have something, right?
Well, I was gonna say, well, that's maybe we guess. Do you think Reddit represents more of like the casual community? Like, do you think they're listening to No, you don't think so? No,
Reddit,
not at all.
I mean, this isn't just like a Reddit specific thing. This is like Yelp reviews and all that. Like, people generally don't go and out of their way to talk about something unless they're angry, right? Like, if people are like happy with something, they don't care. They're not going to go out and say, "Hey, I was so happy with this." They're going to be like, "Huh, that was good," and leave it at that. I think it's a vocal minority, generally speaking, or people. I mean, granted, there's probably some dedicated people there, but I don't think that they should go to Reddit as a credible source for anything.
I feel like this game's future is just like, I don't know, like Dallas Cowboys fans or something, just like constantly complaining about it, but still just never stopping like watching it.
Well, and to be fair, like I think that there are a lot of people who are happy with the game and that consume the content. You know, like I see people saying that there's a lot of doomer content about Rivals and that's all that's left in the game. That's just not true, I don't think. Like, are there people who have moved on and done stuff, and are their narratives going to change? Always, yeah. But there's always going to be people consuming this stuff, man. And, you know, for me, like, I'm not thrilled with the state of it, and I've talked about that. But, you know, the problems I have, it really is one thing. And granted, it would be a big change if they did it. But, like, if they reined that in, the game would be much more approachable for me. But, you know, I'm just going to go play Overwatch for a month, and then I'll probably pop back in. And that's the best thing you can ask for if you're a hero shooter fan. So I'm not trying to sit here and doom content the game. I just don't think there's any, like, you got to be real about it. There's no excuse for the cycle to be as bad as it is for as long as it has. They've beat around the bush, and then they want praise for a 2-second Luna ult nerf. It's so much bigger of a problem. That's my only issue. So I think, yeah, it's the Dallas Cowboys fans, but, you know, they're going to release Deadpool, and that's going to have massive pull in America. They're going to release Thanos. It's going to bring everybody in, and they can do alternate modes to, you know, what I think they should do that would be sick is, I've always wanted Blizzard to do this, but it would fit better in Marvel. You guys ever play, like, the Star Wars Battlefront games back when we were kids? I'm not sure, Captain Coach Wimmer, what year were you born in?
89.
89.
I'm
Okay,
an old
so
man.
So, I mean, listen, I'm about to be 29 this year. So we're close. I mean, I'm 96, but you get it too, where it's like, you remember the old PS2 Star Wars Battlefront games where you could play as, like, stormtroopers, or you could, like, occasionally get a Jedi, and there was a big ground war. Like,
that was one of the best games ever made, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, it was peak.
It was peak. They could easily do something formatted like that and around, and maybe Thanos comes in, and he is an Overwatch super tank, right? Like, there's so many different things they could do with this
I've
game.
seen a lot of people wanting PvE mode. I personally would love some form of an arena mode where it's more just kind of close quarters, smaller map, and it's just like a 3v3. And I think that mode would probably expose some more of the balance issues because right in a mode where it's just people just fighting, you just fight to the death, basically. And then once you die, you're dead. No response.
Yeah, something like that would be great, and that definitely would expose balance. I would definitely lean more towards, like, the Star Wars battle. PvE is a scary thing for Overwatch players, right? Because we had a lot of that.
Man, imagine if Rivals got a freaking amazing story mode, man.
Yeah, well, I mean, but they're already telling the story in the game better than Overwatch ever did. Which
That's true.
Well, I shouldn't say that, because the original Overwatch days when they were telling the stories with the archives events,
those videos were amazing.
Fire.
Yeah,
they were fire.
Why did they stop doing them? I don't understand.
Internal issues. I mean, the whole reason the company.
The whole.
You know what I really like, bro, was the TFT mode they had. I thought they did a great job with that. I was very impressed. Like, I mean, it wasn't perfect.
Was it Heroes of the Storm? Was that what it is? What was it called?
Oh, no, I'm talking about the Marvel Rivals game mode.
Yeah,
the
that was
Ultron Battle Protocol Matrix. I thought they did a great job.
It shows that they could do more things.
It was impressive. Like, I mean, it had the same issue that any auto battler has, and it's like why the auto battlers always switch their meta every month or two. Because, like, once you figure out what the best stuff is, because auto battlers are meant to be in balance. That's the fun of them. You try to find out what the most broken shit is, and then you just there's usually 3 or 4 comps. There's the best comp, then the comp that counters it, and basically, lo and behold, you know, since all the heroes in the auto battle are essentially mimic how they are in the game. The best comp was like 3 or 4 supports, and maybe 1 tank and like 2 DPS, or some cheesy stuff like 6 tank. But it was mostly just. But it showed that they're capable of doing other stuff at a pretty high level. So I mean, I'm really into auto battlers and more of this strategy side. So maybe that's why I'm not as negative about the meta. I'm curious to see. You play Overwatch. Do you have any other competitive games that you have experience in that you've dabbled in or played?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I played a lot. You could say Warzone, I guess. I mean, I played a lot of Warzone when it was out.
Okay.
I played, back original Minecraft PvP when it was at its peak. A lot of people came from that. It was super competitive back in the day. I'd have to think on it though. I think more so recently. Not really. Not like Not like Overwatch, right? Where it was like Overwatch is kind of my main game for almost 10 years now, right? So yeah, it's not necessarily, but some on the side. But that's pretty much it, I would say.
How do you feel about Rivals rank system? Because I feel like there's a lot of problems with the rank system.
See, that's where I got a lot of stuff. I would. Is EOM real?
It's not real, no. I mean, it's just the nature of the game. It's just like, are you getting a freshman who doesn't know how to play? When I say freshman, I mean a rookie, because they make rookie mistakes, and that costs you games all the time. It happens. It depends on what hero they climbed on. Depends on the meta. Depends on like what they're flexing to. I think there are a lot of flaws with it, but I think that it's always going to be flawed because human beings are flawed, and you got human beings with human beings, and how human beings synergize with each other in a team-based game.
Okay, is it the game balance that's the issue, or more like the players? Is it more like, are the players to blame for the low quality of the games? How much blame do you put on them? I like that answer. I like that answer a lot.
I think a lot of the way the game's designed creates more problems. In that, again, like
I hard agree with that.
If your support ult's not used on point, if your supports don't use the ult on point, and you could be the best DPS on 80% of the DPS roster, game's over. There's no window for you. That's why I'm saying they need to expose the neutral, right? Because the ults are so powerful, they want to fill the hero fantasy in the game that you can't outskill a lot of them. And that's a big part of why this game is so fun for so many people, right? Is that, what's an insane ultimate, right? I mean, compare a Hulk ult to, like, I don't know, Luna ult, right? It's like you could give a gorilla a banana and have him press his Q key, and the Luna ult's going to get value on point, right?
There is a 0% chance a Hulk can ever kill a Luna inner ult 1v1.
Yeah, never. It will never happen.
Will never happen. It's not possible.
And that's exactly why they need to open up more of the neutral in the game. And I think if they open up more of the neutral in the game and allow for more skill expression to win out over the insanely powerful abilities. Like, the hero design in this game is so volatile. That's a part of why it's so fun, but it's also super volatile, and it's not even across these characters. It's nowhere close. Like, to be frank, and this is where I am going to single support players out. The supports in this game get so much easy value compared to any other game I've ever played. Rocket Res Beacon being a free res to start the fight in an unbreakable spot on a lot of defenses is crazy. And I'm not saying things like Black Panther aren't broken. They are, and he should get reworked. And like, these top of the list of characters that should get reworked, in my opinion. But heroes like Rocket, it's just like, you can just have players who, if they actually had to use their inputs, would be 3 skill tiers below where they are. They don't need any game. Like, this is just facts. Like, I'm sorry, it's facts. Like,
we're getting a support person on the podcast next week. Don't worry.
Coach Mills is 1/3 offended. He's a Phil player.
No, but it's true. It's true. I'm like, listen, I like playing these characters. Like, I'm not going to deny, but like, dude, I could pop an edible and play Rocket off my rocket. I feel like it's not hard.
Hey, now you're speaking my language, sir.
Yeah, and I'm not saying that
we call those gamma gummies
for climbing. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it takes no skill to climb at all, but it's such a massive crutch compared to playing fucking Ironfist, right? Like, or any tank. Like, it's not. I think a big part of it is the hero design. The hero design allows for players to be boosted to ranks that, if you had to rely on actual decision making, they would be nowhere near. And a lot of that is ult duration. A lot of that is how easy it is to heal. And a lot of that is free value ults, even in the DPS role too. Like, some of them are there, right? Even they've nerfed Squirrel Girl, right? They nerf stuff like that, where it's like, hey. So I think some of it's the system. A lot of it's hero design. Part of it's on the player, but like, it's not the player's fault. The game is going to elo slingshot them for doing the bare minimum. So I actually, thinking about it, would say it's more of the game than the players.
One thing I kind of wanted to shout out my boy Det. This was his theory about some of the problems with the rank system. I want to hear what y'all have to say about it. So, because we have resets every single month, or every 2 months, no placements.
They do too much.
Lobbies are not actually balanced, because someone could be in a certain rank, but they played the whole season and they're at that rank. Or someone could be someone new. They took a break. They're picking up the game. It says they're in Diamond, but they're really like a peak Eternity player. And like, the lobbies are just super unbalanced, and they will perpetually get less balanced because of all the resets.
They need placements, and the way they've the ranks thing. Yeah, the system is the problem. Straight up, the system is like
100%.
They gotta improve it. Placements have got to come in. And again, this is Nettie's first. This is the most mobile game rank system ever. I play a lot of Raid Shadow Legends. That's the main game I play outside of all these shooters and shit, right? how that game works is like you rank up by playing over time. It's play to win, and so you could see that a lot of this system where it starts everyone in bronze. It's a mobile game company. They've never done this before, right?
That's kind of why I asked about if you played other ranked games, because I knew we were going to ask about this. Is the ranked curve in Marvel Rivals it is a curve, which it shouldn't be. Most EOM systems, ELO or EOM system. What am I talking about? ELO systems. It's just like I'm like a conspiracy theorist, like a flat earther. So stop thinking about it. It's supposed to be a linear. Yeah. It's supposed to be linear. You gain a certain amount. If anyone back in like the old school league days, or maybe you play chess on like chess.com or something, that's more what it will look like. It's you win roughly the same amount as you lose, and there's none of this progression based off of time played. It's purely based off of skill, and it's so odd, right? That they basically design their system to you can lose your way up to what, like Celestial, right?
Something.
Pretty close. I mean, and
negative win rates can climb because of performance.
Their performance system measures things so bad. This sent me through a roof. I was pissed. Okay, I get a freshman, a hard freshman, okay? I'm trying to push to my eternity game, right? And you guys know how ranked works if you want to climb in these games. It's not about making plays. It's about not making mistakes. That's what the best players do. They know how to not make mistakes. So I have a GM1 player. I am Celestial 1, okay? And the lobby is GM1 to Celestial 1. I'm about to hit my eternity game, right? And my GM1 is a nice guy, calming, trying to win, but is openly admitting that he's clueless, right? He's playing tank. He's frontlining every fight, taking so much pre-fight, just feeding before the cart gets around the corner on a Rocco. We're pushing second point at Rocco. He's up on height, rounding into the corner while the payload is not up and around to the corner. So I'm playing support, trying to bail him out. I'm like, brother, you just need to not take damage until the cart gets up to this point. Maybe I was playing Score Girl. I forget what I was playing, right? But he's taking so much damage, he's dying 50% of the time before the fight. I have the best DPS stat line in the game. We win the game. I get 19 and he gets 25 after taking enormous amounts of damage. And I'm like, dude, this guy is almost losing us every fight, and he's putting us in a deficit every fight. And he's getting rewarded for more elo for winning the game than I am for carrying the game. And the system thinks that he's if I'm not on this team microing this guy, we're losing this game. And he is losing on his own without me. And I'm getting less than he is because the lobby average is lower. The whole thing is fucked. The whole thing is fucked.
If you're a higher rank, you get less. If the higher you go, you get less.
Yeah. Do you want flat gains past a certain rank, like no performance?
If they could measure it right, maybe you could do performance, but they don't. Their stats don't measure things correctly. Taking damage blocked is a bad stat. It's a bad stat. That's all. That's like.
I disagree with that, but I'm curious to hear what
you're different. You're different. Like it depends on when, right? And there's no way a scoreboard can tell you when it's valuable and when it's not, right? The whole thing about being a good DPS player is trying to do the most with the least. Because you want to put as much resource into your tank as possible, right? So I'm trying to do as much as I can whilst requiring the least amount from my supports, who are going to be like rival support players. I'm sorry for how much grief you guys get, but if you can't at least acknowledge that your role is bell curve, your role is bell curved so much more than any other game out there. It's true. I'm sorry you get hate. So a lot of the times it's from clueless DPS players who are wrong.
Just be honest, bro.
No, it's true, though. It's true. Because the problem is there are DPS players who complain who are clueless and also wrong. And so, I see that happen all the time. But if you can't acknowledge that rival supports are giga bell curve compared to other games, you cannot do what Rocket Raccoon can do in any other game ever. In any other shooter game ever. You can't.
As a Rocket,
I'll hate on supports, but I do want to say that the dumbest players I've ever met are Punisher mains. I'm sorry, but just aim heads that don't use their brain. I'm sorry,
and they're bad. In this game.
The dumbest players I've ever seen in my life. But I do, I'm just
and low ranked DPS players. They blame.
Give her top three for each character.
Go ahead.
Punisher, I think, is one. I think Cloak is number two. Rocket's number two. I think Cloak's number three. All right, there I said it.
Those are the top three brain deads. Top three brain deads.
100% Punisher.
Punisher 100%. I mean, I don't know. Like pennies are like either geniuses or I don't know what they're doing.
Well, the
like,
character Penny is just such a situational character. Like they just can't do what their character needs to do.
I mean, that's true. Yeah, maybe they're all geniuses.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, support players. I'm not trying to dog on you guys, but like there is a bell curve. Like if you tried to play an Overwatch support the way you play a rival support, like doing the same thing, you would get a quarter of the value in Overwatch because they actually force you to be aggressive and duelists. Well, these characters are more about like survive and giga sustain heal. I honestly forgot what I was saying before, but
what are your top three?
Oh, my top three. No, I agree with that top three. That's about what mine would be. I think it's about damage taken. Is what I was talking about. It's like I think it needs to be flat because until they can. They need to do a couple things. The system is at fault. The system is bad. They've got to reevaluate the whole thing. They're working on placements. That's good. They're going to do placements. That will be fine. It needs to be flat until they can actually depict what is value in the game from a scoreboard. And they do not do it right now. They do not understand what value is.
Here's I want to bring it all the way back to where this conversation started. You don't think EOM is real. Fine.
It's not, yeah.
I do because I think it's built into the matchmaking. And Mills and I were talking about that. Mills and I duoed yesterday, and him and I have both been Mills, have you've pretty much like been in top 500 so far, right?
Yeah, just out of top 500 most of the time. Top
yeah, like we've both been like right there, just playing by ourselves, playing with our whatever. We start duoing, and we can't win a game. We drop all the way down from C2 to GM1, and I don't think we were playing bad. And
you probably weren't.
Right, and I think the system is heavily weighted in favor of solo queue versus duo, just like a higher rank player would get less for winning than a lower rank player, and they heavily punish people through some invisible system that we can't see, whether it's invisible rating. You know what that is, right?
Yeah,
where it's like you have your true rating.
Yeah.
Sure. Okay, good. Well, just for people watching, invisible rating is what your true rating is versus like what the numbers on the screen tell you.
You have a matchmaking rating that like it's not your actual display rating. It's how you get match made, and then you have your skill rating, which is like what your rank is, like GM 1 plus 57.
Which I don't think they've ever actually publicly differentiated the two. Like I know we know of these from other games, but they have never publicly said that.
Do you think they have an invisible rating?
Yeah,
Samito?
for sure. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, well then that is like the first step, right? So then, I'd be curious. Maybe leave it in the comments if for anyone watching. What do your duo queue games feel like? I'm sure there's people who duo, and so I feel like it is.
They're impossible. I mean, it's totally
impossible.
And
unless you play with a healer. Unless you play with like a healer.
But that's a design problem. That's a hero design problem. Because again, this is where my issue comes in. There are so many games where if support ults at the right time did not completely dictate the game, if you can't match it or you don't have, or your Magneto, if your mag, and this is why the meta has been the meta for so long, if your Magneto does not hit his ults on their support ults, the game is not in your hands. It's just not. So, again, this is a big reason why I think if they rein all ults in, especially duration, it gives way more individual impact to you two in your duo. Because if you are not on those characters that can make those plays, you cannot affect the outcome, and it doesn't matter how well you play, especially if you're on attack. If you're attacking a second checkpoint and they are stalling with their ults, the spawn advantage is enormous. And the gap is so hard. If one of your teammates makes a mistake and dies, and you have realistically, you have a 10-second window to get a kill, but if they're support ulting, it's like a 5, right? Because again, those cooldowns always come back, and they can stall indefinitely when you can't. You don't have individual impact on that if your team is trolling at X point, because everything lasts for so long.
Because that's the interesting thing. Like, sorry to cut you off, just because you're revealing something to me. Because Captain Coach, we never set up kills on supports through support ults, because one of the things is the primary catalyst to kill support ults is actually supports. Yes. Mantis damage boost, Rocket damage boost, Luna damage boost, like Cloak, Blind. If you want to duo and succeed and overcome the power of supports, you need supports. Yeah. You have to. That's why I think any duo that doesn't have a support player in them, like unless we're doing something really weird, like doing the Unk group Moon Knight, like we ran that one game Samito randomly. That's the only way you're gonna overcome. Like
you can't pierce them. They're unpierceable unless you're playing 3 characters in the game. And so if your random is on mag and he doesn't hit the ult, you lose the fight. Because it lasts for so long. Because you have no option to kite. Because it lasts for 14 seconds. You can't win. It doesn't matter what you do. That's then the best part of going back to Overwatch. And like, listen, you're not going to win every game, right? You're not. But this is the problem with Rivals. The kits carry the players. They just do. And so when there's so much power on the kits, the individual skill making or playmaking plays, the individual skills of the player means way less. But again, this is why Rocket ult rework was much better, because everybody in the lobby can break a bad Rocket ult. Everybody in the game can, right? Or if you make a play against a Rocket, oh, it's res before the fight. Okay, so that fight winning play doesn't matter. In Overwatch, I get that kill and it's good. Right? That's a big advantage that I've created, and that's immediate value. But there's so much denial that lasts for so long in Rivals that even if you're making those plays, the kits themselves gives the player a first chance, a second chance, a third chance, a fourth chance. They can't troll. They can't get punished for trolling because the bailouts are so powerful and last for so long. So that's what it is for you guys. The game's just not in your hands. Even if you're duo, it doesn't matter. Unless you're queuing. Why do you think the best players in the game are permanently queuing as combos that pierce and break support ults? If you kill their support ult during the ult or deny that ult, you're almost guaranteed to win if you use yours. Every time. That's the game. That's Marvel Rivals. That's the gameplay loop, which is why I don't play as much right now, because I'm tired of that. It's been a year and a half of the same thing. So I just want more neutral. And if you add more neutral, your all skill, if you're better players, has more chance to shine than the fresh GM1 player who is inting in the game in the front line every fight that I have to micro and put on a literal leash to have a chance to win. And I know that people say, well, that's toxic, whatever, but it's true. I'm not saying this to sit here and sugarcoat things for people. Like, I'm sorry. It's the truth. I'm a veteran. Coach Mills, I just went back to Overwatch. I was champ this season. Like, I know what I'm talking about when I look at this stuff. It is what it is. You can't play make. So it's not EOMM. It's not, and if it was EOM, they would have said it at this point. They came out and outright denied it, right? So it's not EOMM. You guys, like the kits in the game, literally, if you are not playing those combos, and I encourage you, go play and try those combos. Go play Jeff Storm. Go play like any of these other things. And I could pick out your
Luna
codes.
Luna Namor, yeah.
Yeah, I will pick out the moments that you guys are losing, and I guarantee you the win condition, because they're so powerful, you can't, if your teammate doesn't use their win condition properly, you cannot, unless you're on 3 or 4 characters in this game, undo that mistake. Can't do it.
Yeah.
Sorry, rant.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like when you go in, if you go in as like Hulk, Captain Coach, and like Primal and like force their Luna ult, you're gonna die. We're gonna bait the ult, but then our whole team's gonna die to the Luna ult.
But then they stall for 14 seconds, and that neutral doesn't. That's not a win. That's a neutral.
Yeah, and they built a whole bunch. The rest of their team built a whole bunch of ults in that fight that they won, and
they'll shoot you as Hulk, and then they'll get their next ult cycle because the ults last so long. Like if that ult lasted half of what it did, you would have 5 seconds to get a kill and then blow it open. But you just don't have that opportunity. Doesn't matter what you do.
Well, I mean, we had did want to ask, like, what could they do to fix the game, but I feel like we kind of already got that.
That's your answer. You
I
nerf every ult in the game.
I think maybe I'll ask a different question then. Is there a world where the support ults could stay the way they are to appease a certain group and still have the game move towards the direction that you want? Can they coexist? Is there...
You drastically nerf the amount of healing they have. But no, that's even worse in my opinion. I think Luna ult should be massive burst healing. And by the way, if they nerf the ult duration, they don't have to give Venom 30% heal reduction to pierce through it. There is no answer. You're stuck.
Yeah. I mean, notice they Venom and then the Namor team up now.
So now NetEase is picking the heroes that you have to play to have a win con instead of having it organically be most of the cast. And this is an unsolved. Like, they have to address this. There is no way around it. You can't appease everybody. If you think that it's okay for support ults to last for 14 seconds, 10 to 14 seconds, you are just wrong and you shouldn't be appealed to. And the same goes for DPS ults. Nerf the DPS ults too. I'm not just going to single out the supports. Take Ironfist ult down to 8 or 9 seconds to compensate. Take Punisher ult down to, what is it, 8, 9 seconds? Take that one down to 6 seconds. Take all of them down and watch how the game opens up. It'll be beautiful. It'll be like watching a sunset over the ocean. It'll be gorgeous. Okay? You can get your, what do you have? A Manhattan? What did you have? What did you, a Russian something?
White Russian.
Get your White Russian camp on the chair, dude, and, sit there and enjoy the sunset. But there's no way around this, man. You got to tackle it head on if you're netties, and that's been my big disappointment. That's the only disappointment I've had with them because the new characters are sick.
All right, I got a new question. We're gonna change directions here. Who's doing a worse job, NetEase or the Cincinnati Bengals?
Bengals.
Oh, even with Toey B out. Sorry, Joey.
Dude,
Sorry.
Bengals, we're fucked, dude. We're fucked.
I'm a fan of another team in the AFC North, and we're also fucked. Can you guess who?
Oh, you're the Browns fan.
No, Browns are always fucked.
The Browns are always fucked? Okay, so you're not perma-fucked. You're not a Ravens. You got to be a Steelers fan. You a Ravens fan? Oh, you're an O's? Oh, you're okay. So
Ravens,
you're
Baltimore.
Fan.
Yeah.
My cousin lives out there. Yeah. I got a lot of respect for Lamar. He's a good dude.
He's the GOAT, man.
He's a good guy. I wouldn't say he's the GOAT, but he's a good guy. He's a great player.
Ooh.
He's a great player. He's not the GOAT, bro. He's not the GOAT. Come on. He's a damn good quarterback, but he's not the GOAT. You can't say he's the GOAT. He hasn't done enough in the playoffs. Even Joey B's not the GOAT.
I mean, listen.
Regular season GOAT, maybe. That don't mean shit.
I mean, I can't say you're wrong, but you look at all the quarterbacks. He's my guy, but like you look at all the quarterbacks, right, who have won big. They've all had elite coaches, and I don't think Harbaugh's that guy.
That's fair, but that's still doesn't make he's got to be he's got to do it to be the GOAT. He hasn't done it yet.
Dan Marino? No.
Didn't he win a Super Bowl? No, he didn't, did he?
No.
I wouldn't say Marino's the GOAT, though, either. I mean, I think Tom Brady's got undisputedly the GOAT. He has to be. He's got.
I think Tom Brady's overrated.
Listen, I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but he's got the most Super Bowls, dude.
It's
got to mean something. It's got to mean something. It has to mean something.
The term game. I just randomly having a football talk
LeBron
here.
or MJ? Wait, that's what we're really here to talk about. Okay. I only know basketball. I don't know anything.
I knew you're a football fan.
I don't know shit about football. But I know
I knew at some point I wanted to talk about it a little bit.
New NBA season coming soon. In preseason's almost done. We're close.
Yeah.
Your football, your main sport. I remember because I saw you always had the Bengals.
For me, I grew up. So I became a big Bengals fan when I moved to Cincinnati for 3 years in 2020. That was like the Star Joe Burrow. But my number one team are the Kentucky Wildcats. I'm a Lexington kid, so I'm a big University of Kentucky college football dude.
I don't watch college at all.
Oh, dude, college football is so. At least in the SEC, it's so much fun. But also, I was a big UK basketball fan, so I root for the UK players, man. That's what I go for. But definitely a Bengals guy. My mom's side are all Packers fans, so I always liked watching Aaron Rodgers and those guys. Kind of, Randall Cobb came from Kentucky up to Green Bay, and so that was always fun for me.
I got this buddy who's he's like 45. He's just lives alone. Just super meathead, like redneck, like jacked guy. He recently quit drinking.
Yeah.
And then he started again because of how the Bengals season is going.
Oh, yeah.
I figured I had to ask.
It's been tough, bro. You should see our group chat. It's
he's genuinely depressed.
It's so sad because Joe
I
Burrow,
see him.
We just want to see him play because he's like, this is what I love. We'll get back to Marvel Rivals in a minute, but I love.
I
love watching good athletes. I'm not one of those guys unless it's University. Fuck Tennessee. Unless it's Tennessee, I fucking hate Tennessee. God. But
you heard it here first.
But if it's if it's like the Raven, if it's like Lamar, like I love watching good athletes play. Like I like that's so much fun. Like watching, because it's special. Like Lamar is one of those special players too, where the dude is a threat everywhere on the field. It's just you don't see guys. And the same goes for Joe Burrow. He's a beautiful pocket passer. The dude can escape from. The dude's been put through hell, man. He can do a lot. So I just love watching those athletes, man. It's always a good time for me. I just love sports.
I'm curious because I feel like you have a really you're very analytical about how you approach games. Like I feel like part of the Bengals' problem is once the quarterbacks get out of their rookie deal, that you have to invest too much, and
Oh, the Browns don't pay shit, dude.
the progression with these teams is that they just don't invest in their O-line, and that's that's been his problem.
Oh,
right?
the problem is we've invested in the O-line, and they're still trolling. So it's like because we went and got Orlando Brown, we got a bunch of guys. It didn't matter. We're just I don't know what our problem. We need Jesus is what we need, dude. We need divine intervention to help us.
You need a cloak and dagger all on the
cloak
field.
And dagger all, we need listen. We need Luna
12
Snow.
seconds.
Put a snowflake on Joe Burrow. Start hitting the fucking bikini gooner skins on the Ravens D line. Maybe then they'll start looking. But shit. Oh my goodness.
That's funny, man. Yeah, I mean that Jordan's why I started watching basketball as a kid.
Yeah.
It was just I didn't have a team. I just started watching them.
You don't want to know, Bills? Guess my favorite basketball team of all time. What year? And what team?
Oh shit! I got no
Year and team.
Year and team.
I'll give
Like
you
NBA?
It had NBA. It had a University of Kentucky point guard on that team. It was an iconic team, and it was in between 2000 and 2010.
Was it a Celtics team?
It's not.
It was a Celtics team. I don't know.
08 Celtics, baby. Ray Allen, Paul Pierce, KG. That was my favorite NBA team of all time.
Shit.
Yeah, they were trying to take down LeBron back then, right?
They did.
Yeah,
I think that was the year they did, and they went and beat Kobe
together
in Game 7 in the finals in LA. So great team.
Was he on the Heat then?
He was on the Heat. The Heat took down the Heat. They took down the Heat that year. I was not like a super LeBron hater or anything. Rajon, I got to watch him growing up as a kid, and he was one of my favorite point guard. And dude, he was just insane at ball handling. He was so good. So the fake behind the back passes, the behind the back to himself off the glass is beautiful.
Yeah, he was fun to watch. I always rooted for. I think his name was Steve Blake. He played with Kobe because he was a Maryland guy. But I mean, he was always just like a kind of like a typical point guard, just distributor kind of thing.
Yeah.
But
guys like Nash, Marco. Not Marco Rubio. What is it? Marco Rubio. Jesus Christ, it's a politician. What the fuck am I talking about? Ricky Rubio, the dude from Minnesota, the dude who could just like throw the ball all over the place. Spaniard.
We started with my community. We started a fantasy draft, like a fantasy league for the NBA upcoming season. My name on there is EOM agent Nico Harrison. It's EOMM agent Nico Harrison is the name of the
Oh no, bro!
No, I was a former Mav fan here. I mean, I'm still a Mav fan, but
did you get out too early? Because then they won recently, and then they won with Dirk a couple of years.
No, the new updated news. It's all about Luka, but I don't want to get into it. I'll be pissed off.
Mav patch.
I'll just be yeah. But
I thought it was funny. Bad GD player had like a bad haircut, and he said it was an EOMM haircut. I just thought it was funny. I don't know.
But yeah, no, I think that just about wraps up anything. Unless anyone has any topics they want to bring up.
Anything you want to ask us? Anything you want to talk about, man?
No, honestly, I think I got my main gripes with the game out of the way. Like they've got to spice up the game. They've got to widen the skill floor and skill ceiling. They need to create more opportunities for skill to matter because it just doesn't matter enough. The fact that I can struggle to win in Diamond, and I'm very clearly nowhere near a Diamond player because I'm sitting there watching my team troll their 13-second ultimates and I have no way to make a play through it unless I'm playing 3 characters in the game. It's just lame. At the end of the day, like, this is a video game, a competitive game at that. And again, like they can appeal to casuals, but if I'm queuing the ranked mode, there needs to be opportunity for me to show my skills. And there's not enough variety in terms of what characters can actually have good skill expression. And the big problem, I think, that they could easily alleviate is that ult duration across the board. And then you can start looking at sustain. You can start looking at like the heal and bailout abilities being a little bit too good, cloak and dagger bubble, stuff like that, and making them a little bit more skill oriented and less free value, because ultimately, like, there is a fine line to walk with that. I want to see where the game goes, they can address ultimates first and open that up quite a bit for people. But other than that, I think I could definitely see myself coming back to play Rivals after they get rid of map pools too. There is no reason for competitive.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about map
terrible.
pools. Yeah.
They suck. They sucked in Overwatch. They suck in this game. You already have a stale gameplay loop. They had 8 years of maps. It didn't work for them. You have 2 years of maps, and it works even worse for you. Get rid of them, and that's all I really got. Great game. I still think the game's great, and the IP is not going anywhere. But I'm a little bit bored.
That's fair. That's fair.
Any hero you want to see before we let you go?
Ooh, any hero I want to see? That's a good question.
Juggernaut, Thanos. You mentioned Deadpool a couple times.
Gambit.
I think Taskmaster would be lit.
Okay, I haven't heard that one yet.
He has like a photogenic memory, or like some memory where he can like copy anybody's moves that he sees. He's a mercenary. He's very cool. He was in the Spider-Man games as like a side quest, and they never invested in it.
NetEase will probably make him a DPS character.
Oh, I take it back. Carnage. I want to see
Carnage. Okay,
I
yeah.
want to see Carnage, bro. I want to see
Well,
Carnage.
what would his kit look like? Would he be another tank, or would he be?
No, he'd be a
it's-
tank for sure. He'd for sure.
It's just
like,
Woody Harrelson.
I
It's
can't
just
wait
Woody
to-
Harrelson.
It's a double
he would
tank,
be way less
double venom.
mobile, way less mobile, and more just like in your face throat brawler, like the Thing, like gruesome. Like imagine if his ult was to like impale players, like that would be insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
like a straight up fatality.
A straight up fatality.
I've been
Yeah, that'd be sick.
I'm saying they need a true melee anchor tank because I feel like that's supposed to be the thing, but
No, he's not, dude.
he's not. He sucks. He sucks.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You mean he's a damage taken machine?
Yep.
Okay, boys. Listen, thank you guys for having me. That
Wait,
was a lot of
so
fun.
let people that most people know you, but
Yeah.
where could they find you? Where could they find you to support you or hang out?
x.com/SamitoFPS, youtube.com/SamitoFPS, twitch.tv/SamitoFPS, SAMITOFPS.
Nice.
If you want to see some peak crash outs, you know where to go.
yeah.
Hey.
Thank y'all for coming by.
Thanks for coming
This
on,
was
man.
awesome podcast episode. Subscribe, like, check out the Patreon if you want to support, and thank y'all. See y'all next time.
Who day?
Oh, jeez.